A new report by Daily Bread Food Bank and North York Harvest shows that for the first time, new clients outnumbered existing clients at Toronto food banks. That is a 61% increase compared to last year. Additionally, there are instances where 1 in 3 food bank clients don't eat for the entire day. Think about that for a second. Joining us this morning to share how we can help and really to kind of dive into some of the numbers we're seeing here is Neil Heatherington, Chief Executive Officer of Daily Bread Food Bank. Neil, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Sid. It's good to see you.
Let's do the report first and then how people can kind of help and how we can all galvanize here, because we all knew we were in a spot here with this pandemic and what it's done to the economy and what it's done to people's lives, and small businesses have gone under. This is not a new tale. But when you see some of the numbers you've seen, what was your initial reaction?
Well, we had forecasted, obviously, a pretty significant increase, but we hadn't forecasted that we would see 1.5 times more food bank clients than the height of the 2008 recession. So in terms of client visits, it's a pretty remarkable number. There were 1.45 million client visits in a single year. Now, the highest that we had recorded prior to that was about 1 million visits. So a dramatic increase, and it speaks to the lack of resiliency that so many Torontonians have, that when there is an acute shock, that they are not able to deal with that situation, and we need to respond. And there's a couple ways I hope that we can talk about how we respond to that.
We'll get to those, Neil. We will. But I do want to just stay with the report for a second. You called the findings, quote, devastating and horrific. Do you see it slowing down, or are we unfortunately still not at the worst part?
So the report chronicles it's our annual report, and it goes up to March 31st of 2021. And what I can tell you is that in June of that same year, we hit an all-time monthly high of 125,000 client visits in a single month. So unfortunately, no, I can't see that that we're starting to bend the curve on food bank visits. The number continues to rise. Every single month, there are over 110,000 client visits in this city, and so. The words that I used yesterday, that it's horrific, is absolutely the case for too many Torontonians.
So how can people help, Neil, and give us every social account you got? Like, how can people get on board here? Because this is a crisis.
Well, it absolutely is a crisis, and it's continuing to get worse. And let's not forget that we have eviction moratoriums and changes to CERB that are ending. And so the forecast is unfortunately bleak for a rise in food bank usage. So here's how people can help. There's 3 things. And the first is obviously donating food or funds. Anytime you drop it off at a fire hall, we get it out to the food bank that you see on the screen right now. And that will get sorted and out to people that need it. But, I think what we need to talk about fundamentally is systemically, why is this happening? And the report, we would really encourage people to read this report. It's well written by Talia Bronstein. I'd encourage people to read it and look at the recommendations. There's 3. We are calling for affordable housing. We know that when you get good, decent, affordable housing across the city, the need for food banks decreases dramatically. The second is pathways to employment. So making sure that employment is not precarious, making sure that people can go back to their jobs, and at the same time have childcare. The third is making sure that there's income security. Somebody on disability, as an example, has about $1,200 to survive on a month. And nobody can survive on that in our city with the affordability the way that it is right now. You just do the math at $1,200 and what the average bachelor apartment costs to rent, and somebody is already underwater and having to rely on food charity. And that shouldn't be the case in a city as great as Toronto is.
I mean, it's incredible when you phrase it like that. Time is not our friend, Neil. I got to get going. dailybread.ca is where people can go. Neil, let's talk again soon and get an update out there to the people as best you can. We appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid.
That's Neil Heatherington, Chief Executive Officer of Daily Bread Food Bank. There's a lot of people out there that need help. If you are in a position to help them, please do.